We've all heard it. It's the dream scenario when you're selling a house, a cash offer lands in your lap. It feels like you've just been handed the golden ticket, a fast, clean, guaranteed sale that lets you skip all the usual real estate headaches. No more biting your nails, waiting for a mortgage to get approved, no appraisal panic, just a straight shot to the closing table. And in a perfect world, that's exactly how it works. But what if I told you that for way too many sellers, that dream of a simple cash sale twists into a nightmare that can cost them tens of thousands of dollars? What if the very thing that promises certainty is actually loaded with hidden risks, sneaky tactics, and fine print designed to work against you? The truth is, not all cash offers are created equal. And in the next few minutes, we're going to expose the myths and hidden truths that most cash buyers are praying you never find out. We're pulling back the curtain, looking at the real numbers, and arming you with the knowledge you need to protect your biggest asset. Okay, first things first. Let's get on the same page about what a cash offer actually is, because this is where the confusion starts. On the surface, it's simple. A buyer has the liquid funds, actual money in the bank to buy your home outright, no loan needed. This means you get to dodge the financing contingency, which is easily one of the most stressful parts of any home sale. But here's the critical distinction most people miss. There are three very different kinds of cash buyers, and they play by completely different rules. First, you've got the individual buyer. This is just a person who, through savings, inheritance, or selling another property, has the cash ready to go. They're looking for a home to live in, and their offer is usually sincere. Second, you have institutional buyers or iBuyers. You've seen the ads for these huge tech-based companies. They use algorithms to spit out fast offer, promising you ultimate convenience and speed. Their entire business is built on buying and selling hundreds of homes at high value. And the third, you have the local investor and wholesalers. These are often the folks behind those "We buy ugly houses" signs stapled to telephone poles. Their goal is pure profit. They want to buy your home at a major discount, do the bare minimum, and then either flip it or sell the contract itself to another investor. When we talk about the dark side of cash offers, we're almost always talking about those last two categories. Because while they dangle the promise of a quick and easy sale, the reality can be way more complicated and a lot less profitable for you. Okay, let's tackle the biggest selling point first. The idea that a cash offer is the ultimate shortcut to a stress-free sale. The logic seems sound. A traditional sale with a mortgage can take 30, 45, or even 60 days sometimes to close. It's a marathon of paperwork, underwriting, and appraisals. A cash offer, on the other hand, can close in as little as 7 to 14 days, depending on how long it takes attorneys to do title. That speed is incredibly tempting. if you're moving for a job, handling a property you inherited, or you're just sick of keeping your house spotless for showings, being done in a week or two feels like a miracle. It erases the number one fear every seller has, the deal collapsing at the 11th hour because the buyer's loan fell through. A cash offer feels like a sure thing, but what's the real price you pay for that convenience? Okay, here's the first hard truth. That convenience comes at a steep price. The biggest drawback of accepting a cash offer, especially from an iBuyer or investor, is that you will almost certainly get less money for your home. And I'm not talking about a small discount. I'm talking about a serious financial haircut. How much less? Market data suggests that cash offers from investors are often 10 to 15% below what you'd get on the open market, and sometimes even lower for homes that need work. On a home valued at $400,000, a 12% discount means you're losing $48,000. For most people, that's life-changing money. It's a college fund, a new car, or a huge piece of your retirement gone, traded for a slightly faster closing. But wait, it gets worse. Many iBuyers also hit you with service fees for the convenience they provide. These fees can range from 5 to as high as 13% of the sale price, on top of the already discounted offer. So you get a lowball offer, then they carve out another huge chunk. Suddenly, the money you walk away with is devastatingly lower than what you could have gotten from a traditional buyer willing to pay what your home is actually worth. If you're finding this look behind the scenes helpful and want more honest advice that could save you from a massive mistake, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. It lets me know you want more of this kind of real talk about real estate. The second promise cash buyers love to dangle is that they'll buy your house as is. This sounds amazing, especially if your home is a bit older or has a list of needed repairs. No need to spend thousands fixing that leaky faucet or repainting. You can just pack your bags, walk away, leaving the problems for them. This promise preys on a huge seller pain point. The thought of managing contractors and living in a construction zone is a nightmare for most people. An as-is offer seems to wash all that stress away. They make it sound like they'll take one look, give you an offer, and you're done. But this is one of the most misleading parts of the whole game. Here's the reality. As is does not mean no inspection. Any serious cash buyer, whether it's a big iBuyer or a local flipper, has the right to conduct a thorough inspection of your property. They aren't buying blind. They're running a business, and their goal is to minimize risk and maximize profit. This is where a nasty tactic known as the retrade or post-inspection adjustment comes in. Here's how it works. They reel you in with an attractive initial cash offer to get you emotionally hooked and under contract. You're excited. You've told everyone you're moving. You've stopped entertaining other buyers. Then, after their inspector picks your house apart, they'll hit you with a long, scary list of necessary repairs and unforeseen issues. And here's the punchline. They tell you that because of these problems, they have to drop their offer, sometimes by tens of thousands of dollars. You're stuck. You're already deep in the process. You feel cornered and you're terrified of having to start over. They know this and they use that to leverage to force you into accepting a much lower price. It's a classic bait and switch that turns the as is dream into a high pressure nightmare. This brings us to the most powerful myth of all, that a cash offer is a 100% guarantee. Its main appeal, that it eliminates risk, no lender means no financing issues, which means the deal is certain to close, right? While that's mostly true for an individual buyer with proven funds, it's dangerously false when you're dealing with a specific type of investor, the wholesaler. You need to ask every single cash buyer one critical question. Are you the person who will actually buy my house, or are you planning to sell this contract to someone else? This one question will unmask a wholesaler. A wholesaler's business model isn't to buy your house. It's to get your property under contract at a rock bottom price and then sell that contract to a real investor for a fee. They're just a middleman. The danger for you is that their contracts are full of escape clauses. If they can't find another buyer to pay their markup, they'll use a loophole to walk away from the deal, often at the last minute, leaving you high and dry. You thought you had a guaranteed sale, but all you really had was a maybe. And in the process, you've wasted weeks or even months when you could have been on the open market finding a real buyer. Always demand proof of funds, a recent bank statement, or a letter from a financial institution to prove the person making the offer can actually close the deal. Without it, you might be dealing with someone who has no ability and no intention of ever buying your home. So, what's the bottom line here? The truth about cash offers isn't that they're all bad, it's that they are not the simple, flawless solution they're advertised to be. First, remember that the promise of speed and convenience usually comes at the direct expense of your home's equity. You could be leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table. Second, as is rarely means no strings attached. Be ready for a second round of negotiations where the buyer uses a repair list to chip away even more at your price. And third, you have to know who your buyer is. Learn the difference between a real individual buyer, an iBuyer with its fees, and a wholesaler who might leave you stranded. The goal isn't to scare you away from cash offers. A strong cash offer from a legitimate buyer can still be a fantastic option. The goal is to empower you to sell your home wisely. You have to weigh all your options. A strong, pre-approved buyer with a conventional loan who offers you fair market value is often a much safer and more profitable bet than a lowball cash offer riddled with hidden risks. Don't be dazzled by the promise of speed that you lose sight of what's most important, your financial future. If you're thinking about selling and you've received a cash offer, or you just want to know what your home is truly worth on the open market, Let's connect. I offer a no obligation consultation where we could look at the real data for your property and break down the net numbers of any offer you get. Don't make this massive decision in the dark. The link to schedule a call is in the description below. Protect your equity, know your options, and make the right choice for you.